Hey, rad cats and cool kitties. My name is Lenny Graves, and I'm a tarot card reader, astrologer, psychic medium, demonologist, magician. I do a lot of stuff. Usually on TikTok, I just read tarot cards, maybe do a bit of astrology. But from time to time, I like to talk about a book from my library of the occult and supernatural. And tonight's book is Norse Magic by DJ Conway. And this is an older book, and it's about the Norse pantheon and rites and all that kind of good stuff. It's got Freya, Thor, Odin, all that kind of good stuff. The runic alphabet, some basic cauldron and candle magic. To be honest with you, it's kind of got the vibe of back in the late 80s and early 90s, there was a lot of new age books that you could find, like at Walden Books, if anybody remembers. And it has that vibe a little bit, but there's reasons I like this book. And one is I think it's a good primer or easy to read entryway into Norse belief. And I have a particular reason that I like this book. As I said, I think I told you, I first saw this book. My buddy picked it up at the Renaissance Fair in like 1992 or 93, and I read it. It was a decent enough book. And then about 2 or 3 years ago, my partner at the time went out to Bookman's, if you know what that is, and we traded in a bunch of. She traded in a bunch of books, and when she came back, because I said if they have any books on like Norse magic or anything like that, pick up a book. And of all the books in the world, she picked up this book. And I believe in synchronicity, so I hold this book to be not like the Bible of the Norse pantheon, not by a long shot, but as a pretty decent primer and to get you to. Okay, so if you want to do sigil magic, a lot of times I tell people to translate what they've written, and it's not actually, you're not going to write runes in the originals, like the original Norse language or whatever, right? But you can take the English and translate that into the runes, and the runes have different sounds. And if you do sigil magic and stuff like that, this is a good book that will, tell you what the Fehu rune and the Tiwaz rune and the Soelo rune and all those kind of ones, the different runes do, as well as give you some basic rights on the goddess and lots of stuff on Freya, lots of stuff on elves, all that kind of good stuff. It's just a good basic book. It's not the most profound book. It's not the deepest or probably even the most accurate, but I run across people who wanted to. There's not a lot of Vikings left, and we have a good idea about Viking cultural tradition, but we don't know everything. So, especially in, I would say, the pagan community, where you're getting your knowledge is where you're getting your knowledge. Like I said, I give this book a little bit more. I don't hate to use the word faith, but I put a little bit more faith in this book's message than I do maybe some other books. And that has to do with a lot about because it came into my life twice, rather completely random, and I believe in things like that. So I would suggest you pick this book up. You can probably get it on Amazon. And here's the nice thing about this book. It's easy to read, and it is super cheap. And it has this awesome picture. It's got this guy with the hammer, and there's some dwarves and stuff like that. It's just a good book. It's, like I said, it's easy to read. If you already know a bunch about the Norse pantheon and practices and rites and all those kind of good things, what's cool? You probably don't need this book. There's other books that would be much better suited. But if you are like I was at one point, or even just like mid-level and just kind of want to read something that's give you just a couple. There's one spell I really like there with elves and dwarves and calling them to aid you. I really like that spell quite a bit. And again, I really like the table of, and I have several books on what runes mean, and DJ Conway's translation of the meanings of runes is close enough that it's subjective on what. Well, it's not subjective. It's like Soelo can mean like it's just like the sun rune. At the same time, it's also like travel and stuff like that. But it's a good interpretation. Like I said, I give the best book reviews right now. At the end of the day, Norse Magic, DJ Conway, check it out. You can probably get it for less than $10. I mean, you might get it for less than $5 as an old book. But it's worth reading, in my opinion. Like I said, it's a really kind of maybe period. I hate to say period. It gives me that 80s, 90s magic book vibe, but not in a bad way at all. I think you would dig it. It's like this old book. I'll see if I can't find it. Earth Magic. That's amazing. We'll talk about that one in a little bit of a humorous way as well. But check it out, my dark and lovely souls. And also, hey, while you're checking things out, you should check out some of my tarot card readings and other things that I do on the channel. I would really appreciate it. Comment if you'd like, if you've read the book, or if you have any book suggestions about Norse magic. I would definitely like to hear it. And please think about giving me a like and subscribe. That really helps me out, and I would really appreciate it. I hope you have a great night, my dark and lovely soul. Talk to you later.